and making sure I'm in the best place to be able to perform and play. And so most morning I'll start with some form of ritual, whether it's go to the beach or sit in front of my fire or something that just quickly realigns me and welcomes me into the day, but starts by piquing my awareness so that I don't just flow and float into each day as it comes. I have some structure to it. But most of my meditation I find I do at night, generally between sort of 6 and 9 p.m. I sit in a quiet place in my room or my hotel or wherever I am around the country, and I'll listen to, at the moment I'm listening to a Tibetan singing hymns or the singing bowls. I don't know if you've seen those ones, Brett, but they're some of my favourite ones to listen to at the moment. Some stock standard mantra type meditations, I quite like those ones, and often just a focused on the breathing stillness type meditation, which can go from 5 minutes through to 35 minutes, anywhere in that space.
Yeah. So you've found a space that works for you, and you can be in that space for as long as you need to be?
Yeah, very much so. I found that a rigid structure doesn't work for me.
Oh, is it? That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And when I try to force myself to do that, say do 10 minutes every night at this time, I found myself wrestling and just not comfortable and fighting it. So I like to have 3 or 4 different spanners in the toolbox that I can pull out as I need them and try and keep the practice fairly consistent but quite flexible. And then, say within a day, if I find myself being a bit rattled or a bit edgy or a bit reactionary to what's going on, I can quickly go back to the toolbox and just grab a short burst out of maybe a 5-minute mantra to reset, get myself back into optimum capacity of functioning, and that will get me through the rest of the day.
That's really cool. So you not only sort of tap in maybe at night or at morning, but if there's things that are going on that, you know, pushing your buttons a bit, you're getting a bit agitated, a bit frustrated, you can jump in for 5 minutes and it resets you. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I have to commute 20 minutes to work in the traffic each day, and sometimes in that time I will go from balanced and peaceful to a little bit edgy and worked up, and then I've got to go into a football environment with 40 other players and 20 or 30 other coaches who are all
Good afternoon, Tim Callanan with ABC News. The Prime Minister says he believes ABC board member Kristen Ferguson will be able to restore stability to the ABC as its acting chairwoman. Scott Morrison will recommend her for the role today, and it will then go to the Governor-General for approval. The former chairman, Justin Milne, resigned yesterday after the former managing director, Michelle Guthrie, was sacked on Monday. Mr Morrison says the daily routine at the ABC must now return to normal.
Kirsten will be able to step up into that role as recommended, and I think restore some stability there, which is very necessary. And it's important that the ABC maintains its independence. It's also important that the ABC maintain a very unbiased approach to how it reports things.
An Air Niugini plane has overshot the runway in Micronesia and landed in the water. Rob Sharp reports.
The Air Niugini plane carrying nearly 50 passengers and crew was attempting to land at an oceanside airport in the Federated States of Micronesia when it overshot the runway and came down in a lagoon. Some of the passengers filmed their own rescue. Videos and photos on social media show the passengers and crew being rescued by several boats, with some standing waiting on the plane. Local media is reporting there have been no fatalities or serious injuries. PNG's accident investigation team is making its way to the site.
US President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and the woman who's accused him of attempted rape have both given evidence at a dramatic Senate hearing. Linda Gruen reports.
I am innocent of this charge.
Fighting to salvage his nomination, Mr. Kavanaugh angrily and tearfully denied accusations that he assaulted Christine Blasey Ford 36 years ago.
We mean no ill will.
Ms. Ford's voice was also cracking with emotion.
I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth.
It's now her word against his. President Trump has already made up his mind. He fully supports his candidate, saying his testimony was honest and powerful. The panel plans to decide on Mr. Kavanaugh's nomination tomorrow before a full Senate vote, possibly on Sunday.
A Sydney University student accused of planning in a notebook to kill Australian politicians will be released on bail after an expert found the sole piece of evidence did not contain his handwriting. Mohammed Kamer Nizamdeen was arrested in August after a colleague found a notebook allegedly containing details of plans to kill Malcolm Turnbull and his former deputy Julie Bishop. Victorian Liberal MP Tim Smith has questioned the Reason Party for pre-selecting comedian Catherine Devaney to run in the state seat of Brunswick. The Reason Party is headed up by Northern Metropolitan MP Fiona Patten, who was elected under the Sex Party banner. Catherine Devaney has come under fire for voicing controversial views and in April described Anzac Day as bogan Halloween. Liberal MP Tim Smith told ABC Radio Melbourne she has said hurtful and hateful things about a sacred day.
This is quite serious. I mean, this woman is running for Parliament and expresses views that I find abhorrent. And I think there'll be a lot of people who wouldn't vote for the Liberal Party in a month of Sundays in Brunswick who would equally find her views
Okay, but Tim, here's how it works.
appalling.
Reason Party leader Fiona Patten says she does not agree with Ms Devaney's comments on Anzac Day.
However, I do think that Catherine Devaney is a really popular candidate in Brunswick. She's lived there most of her life. Her kids have all gone to school there. As a representative of Brunswick, I think she quite often speaks for that community.
The AFL Grand Final parade is getting underway in Melbourne's CBD with thousands of Collingwood and West Coast fans cheering on their teams. Peter Lusted is there.
Eagles fans that trekked across the Nullarbor have been greeted with Melbourne's drizzle and cold, but they're still buzzing for the parade.
We are so excited. I've waited 30 years for this.
There's been less travel for Collingwood supporters, but they're just as excited.
We're very, very pumped up for tomorrow. Yeah, very excited actually. And I never thought we were going to make it, but yeah, beating Richmond was unreal. Fantastic.
The players from both sides will make their way down Spring Street on the back of utes, eventually arriving at the MCG fan site for their final duties before tomorrow's big game.
And now the weather for the state, scattered showers mainly in southern and mountain areas and mainly during the afternoon and this evening. Possible hail and thunder later near the coast. A cool day today. For Melbourne, cloudy with a high chance of showers, a top of 15. Tomorrow, a possible shower, 14. Sunday, partly cloudy, 17. It's 14 degrees now. ABC News.
Get your fill of spring gardening goodness with the October issue of ABC Gardening Australia magazine. Grow kangaroo paws, zucchini and spring onion and find ideas and practical advice for setting up a shed. In the latest issue of ABC Organic Gardener, grow a bucket load of food in pots and containers, plant heirloom beans for colour and crunch and create a perfume garden for sweet summer scents. Gardening Australia and Organic Gardener magazines. Available from newsagents and gardeningaustralia.com.au.
Hi, I'm Elisa Healy. If you like the sound of this, join ABC Grandstand's Summer of Cricket.
The Women's T20 International. Australia versus New Zealand. Game 1. Saturday night after the AFL Grand Final.
On ABC Radio.
Welcome to the AFL Grand Final Parade with Limo, Emma Race and Clint Wilden. On ABC Radio, Grandstand Digital and on the ABC Listen app.
Well, the West Coast Eagles and the Collingwood Football Club players are currently lined up and they're waiting to take off in the 2018 AFL Grand Final Parade. We'll be crossing down to Brett Sprigg, Matt Clinch and Al Nicholson, who are there on site braving the weather, and they'll be bringing us the very latest from the players and the fans at the parade. Our SMS number is 0437 774 774. We'd love you to join the conversation at any time. As I say, hello, Emma Race.
Hello, Anthony. I have waited my whole life to be an expert in parades to talk you through this amazing event that gets us so excited about the AFL Grand Final.
I saw a little spring in your step, Emma, when we got the news that we'd be covering the Grand Final Parade for the ABC.
Well, the thing is I'm an enthusiast, okay? So I love the game. You know I love this game so much, but I love everything that comes with the game. I love Brownlow Night.
Yes.
I love any kind of count. All of the clubs' counts. I watch all of them. I stream them all.
Even the count of Sesame Street.
The count of Sesame Street is my favourite because he's the count. I love a parade. I love pre-game entertainment. I love halftime entertainment. So it's a thrill to be here.
And it is a thrill to welcome into the studio, joining us live live in studio for the first time this year, Clint Wilden. Hello, mate.
Limo, Emma, lovely to be here. Good to see that Melbourne turned on the weather, as you'd expect, for the West Australians making their way across the country. Didn't know I'd need to pack the umbrella, but nice to be in the studio and not be running the tram lines like Matt Clinch and Al Nicholson are, because it's challenging enough when it's dry, let alone when you're battling the conditions as well.
And this is what you call it in the biz, isn't it? Running the tram lines.
Yeah, I did it for a couple of seasons, 05 and 06, when I was working as a news reporter for the ABC. It's a very busy time. You've got to get as many interviews as you can in before everyone else steals. There's like a limit to about 3 questions each.
When you say running the tram lines, in my mind, I see the black and white footage of the man at the end of the war dancing down the street in Sydney. So that's what I imagine you were doing, and that's what I'm hoping that Al and Matt will be doing for us today.
Well, it is a little bit like that. You do have to twirl your way between the cars before they set off. And what does happen, you get a limited amount of time, and then what certainly happened back in the day is the cars would take off, and you literally had until the end of the street before they turned to make their way up towards the Treasury building to do all your interviews. So you would have to run alongside some of the cars.
So is there a fitness test for people who have to run along to run the tram line?
And that's a very good reason why I'm now in the studio as opposed to running up and down them.
You're
because
retired.
I've retired from that. No, 20 kilos heavier than I was back in those days.
Clint Wilden, you look fantastic, and you are, of course, a familiar voice to our Western Australian listeners, and we would love you to join the conversation. 0437 774 774 is our SMS number. Specifically, do you have any grand final parade stories? Have you attended one in the past? What stood out to you? Did you get to meet any players while you were there? And for people who are actually at the parade today, we'd love to put our finger on the person who has travelled the furthest to be here for the grand final parade, and no doubt for the grand final tomorrow. Have you ever lined the streets, Emma Race, to see a parade or to see someone fly by?
Yes, I've had some personal experience. I think my earliest would have been lining the streets for Moomba, which is a parade in Victoria, to see Humphrey B. Bear.
Well,
which I wouldn't have been disappointed. I wouldn't have got any great grabs from him because, of course, he doesn't say anything.
He gave you nothing.
But that was a very early one. The grand final parade, I always, when my team's been in it, I haven't gone because I've felt I didn't go one year, then we might have won a grand final. Therefore, my superstitions played into it. But I'd certainly wouldn't miss a moment of watching it. Love it.
I love it indeed. Clint, have you ever lined the streets for anything?
No, I'm an exceptionally lazy man.
Yeah, okay.
So unless I was being paid to be there, no. Last time I've actually queued for something was to see Dora the Explorer. Of all things.
Was it worth it?
Not so much for me, but my son was pretty impressed. So
Great.
yeah, 2.5-year-old, you're allowed to get excited. Actually, from Humphrey B. Bear to Dora the Explorer, it is fascinating what you get out and about to go and see. But this is one of the great traditions of Australian football.
It is indeed. My mum, many years ago, with one of her sisters, or a couple of her sisters, lined the streets in Adelaide for hours waiting for the Queen to drive by. There was great excitement in Adelaide at the time. I can't remember the exact year, but they waited for hours and hours and hours, and then the Queen just zipped on by.
Just a flash.
Just a flash. I think they saw the wave. They were happy enough.
Well, that's
they got
legit,
to see
isn't
the
it?
Queen.
Was it the proper Queen wave, though? Was it the genuine sort of the hand sort of with the palm upwards and the slow turn of the wave?
I believe there was a white glove, certainly.
Ooh.
You know, there pointed towards the crowd. So my mum was happy anyway. But what have you lined the streets for? 0437 774 774 is our SMS number.
One of my colleagues on the Outer Sanctum podcast, Kate Sear, is a huge sports fan, of course, and she lined the streets once in 1999 to see the Australian Cricket World Cup winners come back, and they had a parade. That was when it was okay to throw the ticker tape. I think. I think our war on waste means we now don't do that. And she lined the streets because she was desperate to see Brendan Julian, who was her absolute favourite player. And so she waited, and she had the streamer all rolled up tightly in her hand, and she was desperate to throw it the minute Brendan Julian came past. And she did. But she forgot to unfurl it, and so she threw the streamer, and it hit Brendan Julian square in between the eyes, which was embarrassing enough. But when the car was only going at 30 centimetres an hour, he got to eyeball her, and I think she left an impression on him that was disappointing.
Right. Indeed. So it was just the scrunched up round ball of streamer.
A really hard one, a really tightly wound one, and she actually They should have picked her up for the women's cricket team.
Well, I was going to say,
I mean, that's
a beamer. Like, didn't even allow that to bounce.
Yeah.
That's above waist high, above shoulder height. She'd be in real trouble.
I mean, Brendan Julian really should have. His evasive action should have been better than it was. He really should have got out of the way.
I think he was probably too relaxed. But that
probably
is
thinking, I don't need to wear a helmet today. What's going on?
exactly. That's a parade fail. There might be some of them out there that other people can share with us.
Well, let's work it out. We know that our man Brett Sprigg is down there on the ground, and he has a very interesting guest with him at the grand final parade.
Well, this time tomorrow, the West Coast Eagles change rooms will be buzzing. There'll be a hive of activity down here, but right now it's a little bit quieter, but there's still a very important part of the game's preparation, and that's the construction of the 2018 grand final banner. With me is Leon from the Melbourne-based banner squad. Leon, tell us what goes into preparing a banner, especially for a big game like this.
Well, it takes all up probably 15 people about 6 to 7 hours to make. We use roughly 20 rolls of crepe, probably about the same in tape, and a lot of hours.
So you're the Melbourne-based banner squad, so you do the games obviously at Docklands or down in Geelong perhaps?
We do the games in Brisbane, Sydney, Adelaide, Hobart, everything outside of Perth.
So give us an idea of the materials used. You said 20 rolls of crepe paper. It's an incredible operation.
Yeah, it is. But I'm more of a traditionalist anyway, so I love the banners.
And I must admit, because that is a talking point about this year at Perth Stadium, we haven't seen the banner. It's been the Inflatable Eagle. Was there talk about the Inflatable Eagle perhaps coming across to Melbourne for the grand final?
Not that I know of.
What makes the grand final banner extra special?
It's got to be spot on. No mistakes. It's got to look good and be, probably a bit motivational.
How do you decide on, I won't ask you what the slogan is this time. It might be top secret. I don't know how closely guarded these things are. Who decides on what to put on the banner?
The club does. Yeah.
And is it top secret?
Yeah, it is.
So how many people? You say 15 people? You said? That's incredible. How long have you been doing this for, Leon?
I've been coordinator of the cheer squad in Melbourne for probably 5 years, but I've been a member of the cheer squad for 30.
And I guess last week, the prelim, things were going pretty well. You had an idea nice and early that there would be a grand final banner. So how soon do you start to think about what you're going to do with this week's banner?
Straight away. We made the backing for the banner a week before the prelim, but that could be used if we lost, use it next year. So we had the backing already done. It was just a matter of straight after the game we start working out what words and stuff goes on it.
So 24 hours or so out from the game, what sort of stage are you at with the banner? Is it finished? What happens between now and game time?
We finished the banner about 10 minutes ago.
So it just goes away in storage until tomorrow, then it sort of gets wheeled out?
Yep, that's it, until Saturday.
It's pretty special, isn't it, grand final?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you don't make it too often, and you got to make the most of it while you're there.
What would be the ideal outcome tomorrow for the Eagles?
A win by any margin.
Well done, thanks, Leon.
No worries.
Cheers.
Brett Sprigg down there chatting to the Eagles cheer squad leader. We'll be crossing back to Matt Clinch and our Nicholson very shortly, who I know have some of the players with them. But Clint Wilden, can you just summarise for us the excitement in Perth this week? How are the West Australians feeling?
Well, very excited, and understandably so. The Eagles' first chance at a premiership since 2015 when they lost so disappointingly to Hawthorn. And the fact there's a big group of those players, about half the team get a chance to come back again. Dom Sheed was, just really a teenager who just turned 20 when he played last time. So he's back in the side, hoping to go through it once more. A huge amount of excitement. This is a side who, most of the nation, including those on the west side of the country, didn't think would make the 8 this year. And when they've had to go past the problems of Nick Natanui, who can be the most influential player in the competition when he's up and about, Andrew Gaff being rubbed out through suspension, and then now, of course, Brad Shepherd missing too. But you've got 3 elite players out of that side. What West Coast has been able to do, and again, with introducing some real bright spots. Willie Rioli's been fantastic. Liam Ryan's been outstanding. There's a huge buzz.
It's exciting. We know that Darling and Kennedy, since they last played in a grand final, they've had children and they've become a lot more relaxed, and that's been kind of reported. I'm interested to see how they go, not just in the game tomorrow, but how they go with their kids being in the parade. Because I've wondered, if you have children, do you have to take them in the parade? And if you don't have children and you end up in the parade next to a player who has children, is that like sitting next to someone in business class who brings their kid? Because the kids love it, but if I was a single lady, I I don't know that I'd want some other people's kids on my parade.
You don't want those kids raining on your parade.
I don't want them raining on my parade, Barbara Streisand.
Well, from what we've been able to glean just by having a little look as they start to make their way down, most of the guys with kids have sat next to other guys with kids. For example, Willie Rioli, of course, and Liam Ryan both have youngsters, and they were both sitting next to each other with the youngsters in their laps. Of course, there's a number of the Eagles. I think there's 11 players now with kids. There's 14 kids throughout the club, so the Eagles change rooms actually look like a creche half the time.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act in how old is old enough to go on the parade.
The weather, you mentioned the 2015 grand final, the weather couldn't be more different.
Nope.
It was stinking hot in 2015.
It was.
It's going to be cold and raining tomorrow. What sort of an impact do you think that'll have on the Eagles? Do you think it won't really make a difference?
I personally don't think it'll make any difference at all. Shock horror to people on the East Coast. It does get cold in Perth. Not as cold as it does get in Melbourne at times. We're not kidding ourselves on that front, but it still certainly does get cold. The Eagles have played in temperatures around 15, 16 degrees. In fact, they've won premierships here with a temperature around 15, 16 degrees.
And they, of course, win every time it's Year of the Dog,
Year of
Emma
the
Race.
Dog, that's right. It happens to be Year of the Dog at the moment. So
1994, 2006, 2018.
Year of the Dog / Eagle.
Right there. Keep your SMSs coming through on 0437 774 774. We're asking the question, who have you lined the streets for? Paul has sent this one through. Lined up at Templestowe Primary for Bob Menzies. Our teacher, Mrs. Berry, cleaned all our faces with a bit of spittle on a hanky. That's how the early 1950s.
That's how they did it.
I just saw the West Coast media manager doing the same thing. It's above and beyond, isn't it? Spitting in a hanky.
Was it Adam Simpson? Was she wiping Adam Simpson's face?
Not sure Gary Stocks would be quite as keen to do that to the Eagles players.
Right there. And someone else, Megan, has said on the SMS here, 3 times she's lined the streets for someone. One was the Queen in Sydney in 1954. Next up, the 1990 Grand Final Parade. And next up, 2000, the returning Olympians who paraded along Swanston Street in Melbourne. Big cheer for Nicole Livingston.
Oh, of course she would have been in that parade. Now she'd be in it for a whole different reason, potentially. There's an interesting story that I once heard about someone who lined up for Princess Diana, and that's well worth giving you time to. I mean, amazing, right? An icon. And this gentleman had lined up for hours, maybe going on 8 or 9 hours, and as she came along to shake hands, he went to say, "It's an honour to meet you," and accidentally spat on her.
Oh, one of those, random...
One of those weird, involuntary squirts that comes from the depths of your tonsils and you don't know why, and that ended badly. That's another parade fail for you, people.
That is
it's dangerous out there.
It's a parade fail right there. Well, let's check in with Matt Clinch, who is with some of the Collingwood players.
Well, the Collingwood captain, Scott Penderbury, can join us on Grandstand AFL. Scott, how's this, and who have you got on your lap here?
Yeah, so I've got Jax with me. It's my young son. So it's cool. Enjoying this with him and my family. It's it's an awesome experience. So, just looking forward to getting the parade started and, just enjoying it.
In many ways, I imagine it doesn't feel like it was that long ago the last time you played in a grand final, but then you've got him sitting on your lap, and it probably does.
Yeah, 8 years ago, or 7 years ago against Geelong, but it's... it is certainly different, getting to experience it with Jax and, my wife Alex here, mum and dad, all those guys. It's, they've been a big part of what I've done, and, it's cool to experience today with my family, and then, then looking forward, obviously, to tomorrow.
Jax is quite keen on the microphone, but he's got a footy in his hand, so he's distracted. What's the week been like? Obviously, the Brownlow on Monday night, and then to have so many fans come out and watch you at the Holden Centre?
Yeah, it's been a bit different, just with the amount of people that come to training and even the parade today. It's not a normal week, but training meetings have all been like normal, and, our prep's been really strong. So, looking forward to tomorrow.
Family and friends, what's been the in-demand for tickets for tomorrow?
Yeah, so I got onto that pretty early. Saturday I told all my mates who are after them, go through my mum to organise, and she'll sort it all out. So, it's that's probably the one bit of advice I passed on to the young guys is get your tickets sorted quickly so they don't pester you all week.
Obviously, having a few of you like Steele Sidebottom and Tyson Goldsack who played in the grand final, do you sort of feel that emphasis to make sure you pass it on to the guys who haven't been there before?
Oh, just the little things, mate. Just like, the ticket sort of stuff, get that sorted. You want to enjoy the week. You don't want it to be stressful. And, the beauty of our group is we're a pretty relaxed group, and And I think there's 17 guys that haven't played finals, and we've performed every week in finals so far. And even that first game against the Eagles last time, I feel strongly that we played some really good footy. We just didn't get the result. So we'll go in tomorrow confident, like the Eagles will, and see what happens.
To issue the final instructions before the teams break and run out, is that the type of thing you think about the night before, or go sort of on instinct?
Nah, always have a little bit of a think about it. I think it is an important message, and it's exciting because it means when I'm given that, we're not too far away from cracking in.
Well, good luck. Thank you again.
Thanks. Cheers.
Well, Brody Mychek is one who's living the dream. 12 months ago, I was calling you playing in a VFL final series. What's it like to be sitting here awaiting playing in a grand final for the AFL?
Yeah, it's great. It's been a whole different past year, but it's just I've been just taking it all in, and this experience may never happen again. So the whole family, and then back in Tassie, everyone's getting on board. So it's definitely it's not just me going through the whole thing. It's family, it's friends, and it's obviously the Pies fans as well that are enjoying every moment.
What's that experience been like? Obviously, the family and friends getting in touch with you for grand final tickets, but training in grand final week and this sort of reception ahead of a grand final.
Yeah, it's so uplifting. It's it's just good to go out there and train and in front of thousands of fans, and you feel like you're worshipped half the time. But it's a different experience, and it's great to see everyone out today, and I'm sure the crowd tomorrow is going to be huge as well.
Just a little bit different to the VFL grand finals you've experienced?
Yeah, last year's was pretty intense with the way we won, so I'm better for that game, and it probably might calm the nerves a bit for tomorrow. But I know we got a tough job ahead of us against West Coast, and I'm sure if we play our game, we're going to get out on top.
You had to wait a long time to get your opportunity at AFL level. Were you ever starting to wonder whether that phone call would ever come to give you this opportunity?
Yeah, started to wonder for a while, but I just wanted to play the best footy I could. So if it was still happened to be in VFL, I'd still be chasing flags and playing the best footy I can. So it's reward for effort to get this chance, and I've taken every second of it. Who did you grow up barracking for? Essendon fans. So. Can you remember what you were doing this time last year ahead of the grand final? I was on a flight to Airlie Beach for our footy trip. So, definitely a whole different experience. It's great to be here, and I'm loving it. How have you gone as a forward? Obviously, you're playing defence in the VFL, but adjusting to playing as a forward role and accommodating to AFL standard. Yeah, it's been enjoyable to be up forward. Just gelled well with the group up there, and it was a bit tricky coming from. I didn't know what to expect coming as a defender into the forward line, but the transition was easy enough. And then every week I'm still learning new things, and if I can further my career as a forward, I'm only going to go up from there. So I'm looking forward to it. Forwards win the games and kick the goals anyway, don't they? That's the end of the ground you want to be at. Yeah, definitely. It's better kicking them than getting them kicked on you. So, definitely love every time I get a go and celebrate hard. How many of the family are coming along tomorrow? Mum and Dad are on the boat tonight, and then my brother's down from Maroochydore, and then my girlfriend's family's coming to watch, so managed to get rid of all my tickets and... had to let a few people down, but got it sorted in the end. Have you heard from any of your old coaches? Have you heard from Gary Ayres? Yeah, they always send messages throughout this whole final series and throughout the year this year, so definitely feel the support from old teams like Port Melbourne, Werribee, Marby Park, and even Bernie Dockers. So the Tassie support back there has been great, and loving hearing from everyone and appreciate it all. Good luck in the grand final. Thanks for having a chat. Cheers, mate.
Well, Jeremy Howe's been good enough to join us on Grandstand AFL. The weather not quite playing its part. How's the experience at the moment, ready to go for these cars to get moving?
It's good. Sooner the cars get moving, the better. We might be able to move and get farther through the weather. But look, it's a great experience. Massive turnout from both clubs of the fans, and it's a good experience and it's an exciting time.
How's your body feeling? How'd you get through the week? Were there any question marks as to whether you thought you might not get there?
I'd probably have to get my leg amputated to pull out. But look, I was obviously pretty sore and was well documented throughout early in the week, but had a good week of recovery early, got through training yesterday, and fully confident to get the job done tomorrow.
Grand final experiences, have you played any at junior level or since transitioning across to Melbourne?
Yeah, played a couple underneath my old man in under-17s, lost one and won one, so we won one, then we lost another one, so then I've kind of keep the trend going, so we might have to win this one.
What sort of advice will he give you before the grand finals? Have you been in touch yet?
Yeah, well, he's at my house at the moment, but pretty stock standard, just go out there and enjoy yourself, pretty much the motto all the way through, and that's what I'll do.
How many friends and family have made their way over from Tassie?
Yeah, it's probably 8 to 10 of them. They're all shacked up at mine, so it's going to be a pretty crazy household tonight, but full of excitement, and everyone will enjoy it.
Did you quarantine them off, or do you have to leave your own house to get a good night's sleep?
No chance. I'll read the cues. If I'm sick of them, I'll give them the boot. But look, I'm just looking forward to it.
Beautiful. Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Jeremy Howe there with Matt Clinch down at the grand final parade. Very important player for the Pies, isn't he, Jeremy Howe?
I loved hearing him say his dad coached him to an under-17. That reminds me, my mum was my netball coach for a while, and she used to reward us with snakes if we got a goal. I wonder if his dad did the same thing.
Right there, but he's an important player, isn't he, Clint, to that defence? And I know Pies fans got very worried last week when it looked like that ankle was going to give him a bit of trouble.
And understandably so important. We talk about what Jeremy McGovern and Tom Barras can do with intercept marking. Well, Jeremy Howe does that as well. So he gives them another option in terms of working the ball out of defence. I mean, he is their pie in the sky. He's terrific to watch. And I'm really keen after 100 games with Melbourne and what he had to go through there. Remember, this was at last his first chance to experience a finals, and with a number of his teammates gone right through to playing a grand final for Jeremy Howe.
As the parade makes its way down Wellington Parade towards the MCG, the crowds are lining the streets there. The biggest crowd ever, and Clint, I know you were there covering this one, Hawthorn West Coast 2015. It was the first year there was a public holiday in Victoria, and people thought, oh, will it work, won't it work? But I think there were 150,000 there that day, wasn't there?
There was a huge tick of approval from the supporters. And I actually find it fascinating here as well. Often there's been a discussion about whether or not the crowds will come out when an interstate team's in town. But I do tend to see, we've been here for Sydney versus the Western Bulldogs a couple of years ago. State teams, Adelaide, of course, against Richmond, really do show up. So many people like to fly in on the Thursday or the Friday morning, and there were coaches that got off the red eye and made their way into the city this morning. People are looking for something to do. So big numbers turn out, and we're just looking down the parade route. There's an awful lot of blue and gold. It's not just black and white like people would think.
Oh, no, there's a lot of West Coast fans, certainly out and about in Melbourne. I've been seeing West Coast fans all over this city all week, wearing their scarves, wearing their jumpers. I was out to dinner last night, and there was a bloke wearing a West Coast Eagles jumper at the next day. It was just fantastic. But one of the most wide-eyed people in the parade isn't actually in the crowd. One of the most wide-eyed participants in the parade is Mason Cox, the big American. He is still scratching his head what is going on with Aussie rules football. Because it's an odd one, isn't it, Em? Because we have this parade before the contest. Now, that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, does it?
No, it's quite unusual. And it's funny because there's also not... I don't think the NRL have a parade. It's a great opportunity to see the players before it happens, but mostly what happens in international sports is that you'll see a parade once they've won. So it's a winner's sport. One thing that's really unique about this is you don't often see a garden chair, or it looks like a temporary office chair in the back of a Hilux in many of the other sports. They don't offer them up. Usually they go for a luxury vehicle. And so I have done a little check, mostly with the NBL stars, they do like to run the gauntlet. It's a little bit risky. Often they're really tall players, and they stand in the back of a convertible.
Oh, yes.
Which just the mechanics of that. I mean, a quick foot on the brake can really throw a tall basketballer.
They're flying out the back.
Yeah, they're flying out the back. Yeah. But you see a lot of open top buses.
That's a favourite of our soccer clubs in England, particularly after FA Cup or championship wins.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and they do love those in America as well, actually. I know the winning reigning hockey team this year was in an open-top bus.
And the NFL,
Yes.
they do that as well.
Don't want to
though-
drop the trophy off them, though.
No, the Boston teams, the New England teams often use the Boston Duck, which is like a boat pretending to be a car. When is a duck not a duck? When it's a car that looks like a boat or something like that. I don't know what they call it. And the Melbourne Cup parade, that's the other one they do pre-Melbourne Cup, of course. But that's like a vehicle mashup. They have all sorts of things in the Melbourne Cup parade, and including, of course, horses.
And including horses. No one riding horses today, except a couple of police. Now, you mentioned the deck chairs dangerously placed in the back of these vehicles as they drive up to the MCG. How you are our resident weather expert. Emma, how is it looking down there at the parade?
I am the weather expert because I have the app. It says there's 40% likelihood of showers, which we're seeing here. But don't just trust me. I like to get my weather from the one and only Barbara Streisand.
I simply gotta march my house to drum. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade.
There's some songs that once you've seen a parade get stuck in your head, really. I was singing this the whole way to work as it started raining on parade day.
Is Barbara Streisand performing at the MCG today?
No, she's not, which is disappointing, and the AFL should look at that. But I have heard a lot of Jimmy Barnes coming from the parade. You can hear that in the interviews happening behind us, and I think that's just a great day for Australia, isn't it, when we've got Jimmy Barnes blaring.
It really is. Now, not a sporting parade, but Macy's Thanksgiving parade is a big one. The Mardi Gras, that's a massive parade, of course.
Huge. Mate, I've been to the Macy's parade. It's terrifyingly huge. You've been in a parade. What was that like?
Well, I've been in the AFL Grand Final parade in 2004.
How did you scan that?
Yeah. Well, I was on a TV show called Before the Game, which is on Channel 10, which was a very popular AFL comedy show. And they just said, and Channel 10 were the broadcasters, and 10 said, do you want to go in the parade? And we all went, yeah. And it was kind of weird, to be honest with you. But we were just in 2 or maybe 3 cars right at the back of the parade. And we just followed all the players.
Were you in the tray of the ute on the office chair?
We were sitting in the dodgy deck chair in the back of the ute, yeah.
I feel like that's a real moment. Did you feel like you were a fake footballer?
It was cool. I mean, people, for the most part, were quite nice. A few people queried our relevance, which was totally reasonable in the circumstances.
Queried our relevance is a really polite way of putting it. I was in the Mardi Gras parade last year. I was invited with the AFL, ACT New South Wales women's teams, and it was amazing. I had to learn a dance, which was shocking. It's a long way to dance all the way along Oxford Street, but it was fantastic.
I bet you got a lot of love.
So much love. People think you're famous if you're in a parade.
They do indeed. Yeah. Do you, Clint Wilden, do you have a favourite parade?
Well, never one that I've been to, as I've mentioned before, but my favourite parade, you've got your own parade. Well, I'll go one better in terms of Barbara Streisand. This is a great musical moment. If you've ever heard of the Von Struben Day parades, you wouldn't have, but you should have, because I'll guarantee you've seen one of them on Ferris Bueller's Day Off, one of the great parades, and of course this track when Ferris Bueller got up and just took things over.
Yes. One of the great moments in one of the great films.
Imagine if you saw the more new age relaxed bucks just get up and pump out Twist and Shout today. How great would that be?
It would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
It is not going to happen, but it would be amazing. Now let's cross back down to the parade. And Alistair Nicholson has caught up with a few of the West Coast Eagles.
Got the West Coast captain Shannon Hearn with me. He's just wiping down his seat in the back of the ute here. It's a little bit wetter than we might have liked. Shannon?
Oh, a little bit, but it's not too bad. I think tomorrow's meant to be fine, and there's still a fair bit of crowd here, and hopefully when we get up and around the corner here, there'll be a fair few West Coast people.
Yeah, I mean there have been plenty of West Coast people make the trip down, and obviously they've made Perth Stadium a fortress for you. Yep. How important is it that you get plenty of support here in Melbourne?
Yeah, well, it's always great to have that support. Over in WA and Perth, it's always been fantastic. So coming over here can be hard. Grand finals. Not a heap of tickets to the public, but we appreciate everyone that comes over. But no doubt, we understand the support that we have back home.
How's the week been? Jeremy McGovern and Luke Shuey obviously talking points to get up fitness-wise. They're all okay to go?
Yeah, they're going to be fine. So, Luke's been to do a bit of training, so has Gov, so it's going to be fine. Just always one of those things. Sometimes the longer the year goes, the more it's just about that recovery and making sure that your body's right to play because you've done that work through the pre-season and through the year.
Have you dared visualise or thought about what it would mean to hold up a premiership cup as captain of the club?
Well, yes, you do think about it, but it's one of those things that you understand the more experience you get. You can't be thinking about that. Like when I say thinking about it, the things that make that true is doing your prep during the week and making sure you're doing your bit in game day, and that's what we learned a few years ago. You need to make sure that you're doing the things that make you a good player and what you're meant to be doing for the team. So if you can do that, percentages are in your favour, and then hopefully the result goes your way.
Pies have got a potent forward line and a mix of sizes in that forward line and styles to capture goals for the team. How are you going to nullify that?
Well, any time you get to finals, everyone has a pretty good forward line. And yes, they got a couple of blokes who can take some really good marks. They got some speed up there. It's like any other game. So it's just if you can not slow the ball down, but if there's a bit of pressure on coming in, makes job as backman easier. It doesn't matter if it's pre-season or a grand final, but it's making sure you're doing your job, beating blokes one-on-one, working together, and if you can do that, be all right.
Shannon Hearn, thanks very much. All the best tomorrow.
Thanks, Alistair.
Jack Redden's with us at the grand final parade on Grandstand. Jack, thanks for your time. What an occasion for you. You made the move from Brisbane to West Coast a few years ago. You had some issues with a hernia, and now you've got your body right. Not only are you playing in a grand final, but you've had an outstanding season. How's it been this week for you?
It's been really good. In a way, we try to keep it as simple as we can and normal as we can, but obviously you got all this sort of stuff, so you got to stay focused within all that. And yeah, really excited and really happy I've done the move 3 years ago, and here I am in front of a grand final.
It took a while for you to start to play some of your best football, didn't it? Has it been rewarding to have the year that you've had?
Yeah, to be honest, as bad as it was when I first come over here, I wasn't playing the footy I would have liked. It's kind of used it as a positive, and I've sort of developed my personal game as well. So I wouldn't change it for the world, and I think I'm a better person and a better player for it.
Do you get a specific matchup that you've been told about tomorrow yet, or?
Collingwood have got a lot of depth through the midfield, so it's going to take all of us to nullify their impact. But I'll probably line up against the Pendleburys, Adams, those types, but no definite matchup. We play against a number of the opposition players these days. There's no really direct matchups, but really looking forward to the challenge and what's ahead.
Fair few people in the little town of Keith in South Australia will be taking a keen interest tomorrow. Any of them here, Jack?
Yeah, I've got the whole family coming across, so they're a bit all spread out around Australia, but they're all meeting in Melbourne, and I'm so happy to share this experience with them, and really excited.
All the best for tomorrow, mate.
Cheers, yeah.
I'm here with Luke Shuey from the Eagles. Luke, how's the week been from your perspective? Obviously, plenty of talk around your fitness, but you've always been confident this week you'd be right to go. The smile on your face says everything.
It's funny, I don't know how many times I have to tell people I'm going to be okay. But yeah, no, I'm good, mate. It's good to be here. Lucky to be here as a player. It's been a good week in Perth. You sort of get to escape a bit of the hoo-ha that goes to the grand final. But good to be here. It's been a pretty normal trip so far, and we'll train after this parade, and yeah, the weekend will roll on.
Talk us through how you've managed yourself this week.
Personally, with the ankle? Well, mate, it actually pulled up that well. I was able to train all week, and it pulled up better than I expected. So I've probably got more out of the week than I initially expected to. But I think it'd take a fair injury to keep someone out of grand final.
Absolutely. Great opportunity here for you. You played so well against Melbourne. Do you feel like you can carry that form into a grand final here at the MCG?
I think we've had a pretty good month. We're playing reasonable footy, but the blokes down at Collingwood are playing just as well, and knocked off arguably the best team in the competition last week. So form is irrelevant come grand final day. It's a whole new ball game, and you have to turn up with the right attitude, otherwise you get found out, as we found out in 15.
And as one of the star midfielders of the competition, do you relish the chance to go up against the likes of Sidebottom and Pendlebury and Adams and those types of players, Treloar, who've all been in terrific form?
Yeah, it's a wonderful challenge. We've had a couple of games against them this year, and we've obviously won, but either game could have gone either way. And great challenge against arguably the best midfield in the competition. I think Richmond have been the best team all year, but Collingwood's midfield have been unreal, and it'll be a great challenge tomorrow.
Go well tomorrow. All the best.
Go on, yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, we're looking at some very tasty matchups there tomorrow. Through the midfield, Limo here with Emma Race and Clint Wilden, bringing you the 2018 AFL Grand Final Parade. And we've asked on the SMS, who have you lined the streets for? A few people have suggested the Beatles, lined up for the Beatles on Buller Road. Strathmore, and someone else says, Joy says the Beatles, Flemington Road, when I was 13. Someone else says, I've cheered home the Hockey Roos before, but I'm really looking forward to being a part of the celebratory parade for the AFLW Fremantle 2019 premiers. Says Danae right there.
Good on you, Danae.
And Robin says, I lined up for the Olympic torches that came through Nunawading in 2000. And Lynn in Surrey Hill says, I've been at the Tour de France watching a sponsor caravan go by. She says it's huge, colourful, loud and incredibly crass.
I'm a bit disappointed with Danae. I thought she'd be back in the Scorchers WBBL team, Danae.
Come on.
I'll be doing that too.
She's on the Fremantle AFLW team. Right there, Lynn says, Tour de France, it's so bad, it's almost good. Right there. All right, let's get back down to the parade, and I believe Brett Sprague is with some Collingwood fans.
Thanks, Limo. Yeah, I'm making my way through the crowd here at Yarra Park. The weather has subsided for now. I'm right in the thick of a group of Collingwood fans. G'day, folks. So what's your name? Will. What's your name?
Anita.
And you are among this huge crowd here today. You turned out, obviously, for the boys. We'll see them on stage very shortly. How excited are you?
Yeah, excited. It's grand finals. How can you not be excited?
Could you have imagined that Collingwood would get to where they are now?
Let's just skip it all. We beat Richmond. We're in the grand final. That's all that
Say no more.
We stopped Richmond from back to back.
Hey, give us a few bars of God Collingwood forever. What do you reckon? Come on.
Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side we'll stick together to uphold the Magpies. Come on.
You've done all right. Well done. Cheers.
Plenty going on down there at Yarra Park, and the fans are gathering. The record crowd, 150,000, as we said earlier, Clint, in 2015. The lowest crowds were between 2004 and 2006, so that was Brisbane Port, followed by West Coast Sydney. Around 40 to 70,000 for those parades.
Just hearing those Collingwood fans then, can be really loud, and I've wondered whether the Collingwood fans think it's their job to really start the mind games at the parade.
Yes.
And I've wondered whether the players have some mind games going on.
Well, I know that last year, Trent Cotchin had said when he picks up the cup, he said he wanted to let go of it second. So, the two captains pick up the cup together. So in his head, he refused to let go of the cup until Tex Walker let go of the cup. So that was a little mind game there.
We've cracked it
from
open.
Trent Cotchin. Wow. And of course, Richmond won. Read into that what you will. But that's just a nice little story from the captain's mind games right there.
It would only work if you're up against another super competitive person for that sort of thing, because I can't imagine Shannon Hearn caring at all. Hold it up, get the photo, let go of it. On to the next thing.
He is a very business-like character, isn't he?
Yes.
Shannon Hearn. Let's cross back to Alistair Nicholson, who's down at the parade with Tom Phillips from the Pies.
We've got Tom Phillips with me from the Magpies. Tom, first grand final, take us through the week. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week. Big turnout on Tuesday and Thursday yesterday for training, and everything's been pretty normal apart from that, seeing the big crowds, and it's great to have the Magpie Army out there during the week. So now you can sort of feel that it's becoming reality now, and it's going to be good tomorrow.
When you were running around as a junior at the Beverly Hills Football Club in the eastern suburbs, did you ever think you'd be playing in the biggest game of the year?
Yeah, well, I went to a few of these myself, and remember being one of those kids in the crowd, wishing I was one of the guys on the back of the cars. So it's pretty weird to be here now, and it's good fun, and especially I think playing my 50th this weekend in a granny, and Will Hoskin-Elliott playing his 100th. It's great to share a milestone with such a quality guy and a quality player, and hopefully we can get up for the win.
Now, you're sitting next to Mason Cox in the back of the ute here. He's got his legs up on the back of the cabin. He almost needs a red rag on them for a long load, I reckon. How's Mason going?
Yeah, Mason's good. Yeah, he's pretty chilled. He's a character. He's a personality. One of my best mates at the club, and he's pretty relaxed, I think. So he takes it all in his stride, and that speaks volumes with how he plays footy as well. So he's going pretty well.
Enjoy the afternoon, mate. All the best for tomorrow.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well, Taylor Adams from the Collingwood Football Club's been good enough to join us on Grandstand AFL. Taylor, how's this? The weather's obviously threatening to not play its part, but to see so many Collingwood fans lining the streets, it must be getting you pretty excited.
Yeah, I don't think the weather's going to stop the Collingwood fans from coming out in force, so we're not too worried about that. But yeah, awesome turnout.
Grand final experience at any level? How many grand finals have you featured in?
I've played in probably 3 or 4 in my junior career, so Obviously this is my first final series, and so far it's exceeded expectations. It's been an unreal experience. You know, to go to the Perth for the first round and face 58 crazy Eagles fans is pretty cool. But obviously last Friday night was probably the highlight so far. It was incredible. The MCG packed out and playing our home deck in front of a massive crowd was awesome.
You've got Levi Greenwood sitting next to you. Do you get any choices to who you sit next to in the back of the vans?
No, we get buddied up, but I'm very lucky. I love playing alongside Levi, and he's one of my great mates. So very lucky to be sitting next to him today.
Good luck tomorrow. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I had the chance to chat to Jayden Stevenson after he'd won the Rising Star Award. How's it feel a few weeks later to now be heading into your first ever grand final at AFL level?
Yeah, it's an unreal feeling. I didn't picture this 9 months ago, let alone 4 weeks ago. So to be here, it's credit to the coaching staff and my teammates, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
Pinching yourself, or are you just rolling with whatever comes your way?
Yeah, just sort of rolling with it. It's just another game, really. You just got to take some marks and try and kick some goals, and it's pretty simple. Might just be a little bit of a bigger crowd and a little bit noisier.
Are you the kind of guy who knows what the biggest crowd is you played in front of, or will you just rock out and experience whatever comes your way?
Yeah, I sort of take things pretty easy. I think that helps with my footy, to take it pretty lightly and remember that it's just a game, so hopefully we get the result.
Grand finals, have you played in many at a junior level?
Yeah, I played in about 5 as a junior, and always seem to make the finals, so it's no different here, I guess.
Beautiful. Good luck.
Cheers, appreciate it.
It is a great tradition, the Grand Final Parade. Started in 1977 when North Melbourne played Collingwood. And the two teams paraded through the streets, but they stole it from the VAFA, didn't they, Clint Wilden?
They did, which was interesting that they had a look at what the amateurs was doing and thought, you know what, this is a good idea, we'll pitch this. And I think it's one of the, as we mentioned before, one of the all-time great traditions.
Now, Mike Brady's singing at the moment. He is
today.
Let's have a listen to him.
Welcome to the stage, the Deputy Mayor.
Oh. No.
Aaron
The Deputy Mayor's, unless the Deputy Mayor's doing a Mike Brady impersonation.
Well, everybody can do a Mike Brady. There's not enough Mike Brady karaoke. I don't think that happens. But, around about September, he is just the sound of this entire festival. I wonder how people from overseas kind of go like, what is this? What is this guy?
It must be the fortnight or so where Mike gets all the money for the rest of the year, because he was across in Perth for the Sandover Medal, which is the best player in the WAFL. Sing both the famous songs, One Day in September and Up There Kazali, which everyone loved, and then, of course, he's back here this week.
He is the busiest man in showbiz. Look, I've been lucky enough to attend a fair few grand finals over the years, and when he sings in the ground, he sings the same song every year, and it is glorious.
That's fine.
And every single person sings along to every word, and I just couldn't think of a better way to start your day inside the MCG.
Does it give you goosebumps?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
100%.
It's like Christmas. It feels like our Christmas when Mike Brady's singing. I've been thinking about Mason Cox. So the story of Mason Cox has really hit the American press.
Yes.
ESPN and Sports Illustrated have started covering it on their online. They got the photo that Wayne Ludby took of Mason Cox doing like a version of Don McLean's American Pie, which has been fantastic that it's taken him. It's really hit the papers over there. And this beautiful first quote from ESPN: in Melbourne, an American inspired by an Irishman dominating Australia's Indigenous game. It sounds like the beginning or perhaps the punchline of a long-winded joke. And it really does. But I imagine what Americans would think of this when they say, like, they run through some crepe paper banner, they play this game, they don't wear any protection, and at the end they all put their arms around each other and sing a vaudevillian song.
And they sing a song. Well, it wasn't a joke last Friday night when he dominated against Richmond, was it? All right, we'll cross to the parade now. I believe the presentations are beginning.
We're the Eagles, the West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high. We're the Eagles, the West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high. We're flying high. We're the Eagles, we're flying high.
We talked about this, Collingwood fans. You're meant to be playing nice. And now it's your turn to welcome the Collingwood Football Club.
Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barricades are shouting as all barricades should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood. Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barricades are shouting as all barricades should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood.
Firstly, to the West Coast Eagles, welcome, Adam. Great to have you here. Not your first time. Is it easier the second time round? Do you want
I doubt it will be. Really good support for West Coast. That's great. Fantastic. Appreciate all the fans coming out. All good.
You get this treatment at home. You
Yeah, we
get the Coliseum. You've got that brand new stadium. The West Coast fans supporting you there. It's very different here, isn't it?
Oh, it's different, but it's exciting. You know, it's fantastic to be here. It's the parade was excellent, and the turnout in the wet. We appreciate all the support for both teams. It's been a sensational day.
Enjoying the weather?
Oh, it's okay. It's not bad.
Doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't
At the end of the
matter,
day, it doesn't. I might get Shannon to
All
jump
right,
in.
good on you.
We'll have a quick
Thanks,
chat with him. Shannon Hearn, ladies and gentlemen. All Australian, took lots of marks. Jeremy McGovern, most contested marks in the competition. Your backline's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's not too bad. We've always wanted to work together down there and just understand the importance of team football. I think that's why we've improved this year and we've been got to this day is because we work hard together, play team footy, and that's what we have to do tomorrow.
Mason Cox was pretty special last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, certainly. I understand that they've got a dangerous forward line. They can take a lot of marks pretty quick and can kick some goals, so we'll have our work cut out.
Tremendous depth at the Eagles. The number of injuries that you've got, lots of talk about that, but you've been able to bring the young guys through.
Yeah, certainly. I think we've been able to teach the game plan pretty well this year. Younger players coming in, understand their roles, and I think we've been able to cover it up pretty well, and just been another good challenge tomorrow.
Yep, excellent. Thank you, Shannon. All the best to you.
Thanks,
Shannon
mate.
Hearn, ladies and gentlemen. That's about all we've got time for this afternoon. Oh, I'm teasing. Nathan Buckley.
We didn't drive all this way just to get wet and go home, mate.
No way, no way. It was an interesting year for you. You were a dead man walking at the start of the season, and here you are, grand final now. You're pretty excited?
It's the first time I've got that question, actually.
Is it really?
No. Look, we're embracing and enjoying the journey as it is, and yeah, to get to tomorrow's game and have the opportunity to go out and execute against a really good team. So we're looking forward to it.
Yep, a lot of talk about beards this year. Max Gorn won your beard. You're gonna keep the facial hair around for a while?
At least for the next 36 hours, and then we'll see how it goes after that.
See what happens. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow afternoon, How much do you let them go? How much do you trust them? How much do you have to keep working with them?
Yeah, well, look, you end up, as Shannon just said, you trust the way that you've gone about it. We're here for a reason. We've earned the opportunity to be in the grand final, the last game, to decide the best team of 2018. And so we're in the last two, and now we have the opportunity to prove that we are the best team. So there's two sides to get that opportunity, but our boys have gone about it in a great way. We play for each other, and we're looking forward to that challenge.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Scott Pendlebury, ladies and gentlemen. You all right? It's a big deep breath there.
Was it?
Yeah, it seemed like it. You all right? So it's okay.
Well.
The boys are travelling okay.
Yeah, the boys are excited. It's been a really good week. Good turnouts at training. Today's been fantastic. Both club supporters are here and makes it enjoyable. And yeah, looking forward to tomorrow.
They talk a lot about having been here before. Just three of your boys. The big dance. A lot of newbies. Does it really make a big difference internally?
I think for 17 guys, this is their first final series. So there's five of us that have been there on the last day, and 17 guys have handled the occasion every week so far. So, they'll be fine tomorrow.
Met West Coast just a couple of weeks ago. What do you...
We seem to have lost them down there at the grand final parade. Interview there with Scott Pendlebury. I'll tell you what, Pendles and Bucks have taken that club a long way to being loved outside of the four walls of the Collingwood Football Club. People have really warmed, particularly to Nathan Buckley's story, haven't they?
It's been so interesting to see, especially given the start of the year. There was already question marks before the ball was even bounced about whether or not he was going to survive the year. And this new relaxed Bucks has really let people in. It's been a real, I guess it's been the lead from Richmond, but it's really been successful for them.
It's worked an absolute treat, and people feel as though even people outside the Collingwood Club just feel as though they've shared that journey. Just a little bit, which has helped them warm to Bucks and to the Collingwood Football Club.
Yeah, and thinking about how many players haven't been here before is a really extraordinary effort.
Indeed. Now, Al Nicholson got to catch up with a few more of the West Coast Eagles players just before they hit the stage at the presentation area.
Jack Darling's with us on Grandstand AFL, and he's got his youngster on his lap. He's got a little fire truck in his hand. He's got the Jack Darling badge on. How's he travelling?
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, he's probably due for a nap, but he's a good boy, and I think once we get moving, he'll be pretty stimulated by ring. His favourite word's car, so there's no shortage of them today.
And these youngsters have really changed the vibe inside the dressing room at West Coast. He's grabbing my microphone. How you going, mate? Good to see you. Yeah, he's keen to do a few interviews, but these youngsters really have changed things around the group, and obviously this young fellow, what's his name?
Max. Yeah.
Max wouldn't have been born when you last played in a grand final, would he?
He was just a thought back then, but yeah, no, definitely, really enjoyed past 16 months with Max, and he's really made me grow as a person.
How primed are you for a big game tomorrow, Jack?
I don't want to put any pressure on myself, but yeah, I'm pretty primed to play my role and contribute to the team, and you've been doing it all year, so hopefully one more week.
Were there lingering effects of your performance on grand final day last time?
No, not at all. Haven't looked back since then, and we're just focusing on what we've been doing this year. Like I said, it's held us in good stead, so none at all.
Jack, all the best tomorrow, and great to meet little Max. He's a legend. He's got the fire truck in his hands, and soon he's going to go for a fun ride with his dad, and let's hope the ride's fun tomorrow as well.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Cheers.
Jeremy McGovern, thanks for your time. The most talked about corky in the history of football from your perspective?
Yeah, it's been blown out of the water in my perspective. It's a corky. Didn't think it was going to get this much traction, but it has. So, it is what it is, and it's going on.
All right, take us inside your mind. We're here at the parades. There are thousands of people milling around, and we're, only 24 hours or so out from playing in a grand final. We're about to move.
Yeah, we are moving. It's exciting. I feel a bit more relaxed than I have last time we were here, because we've been here before and know what it's like. So it's pretty relaxing. The boys are enjoying it.
Have you been practising leaping over high things during the week at all? Because Mason Cox is a man mountain and started to hold his marks last week.
Yeah, he did. So it's something we'll have to worry about as a back six, but I'd like to think we prepared pretty well.
Enjoy the occasion today and tomorrow as well. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
And with Liam Ryan here, got his little girl on his lap. What's her name, Liam?
River, her name. River, yeah.
You're proud to be here with her and representing your football club?
Yeah, I'm very proud coming this far, and repping the football club and repping WA.
What's this week been like for you getting ready for a grand final?
We just all been just calm, just relaxed, and then just going to have to come in. We all been relaxed at the club.
You going to be leaping tomorrow?
I'll fly out a few. Hopefully I can pull one off.
Can't wait to see that. Nice to see you and great to meet little River here. She's enjoying things. Hello. She's going to have a good afternoon. Hello, River. Enjoy the day, mate.
Yeah, you too, mate. Cheers.
Al Nicholson felt like he was offering some babysitting services there. Very nicely done, Jeremy McGovern there. A lot has been made of that corky. He described it during the week, Clint Wilden, as a bruised love handle.
Yes. There's been a lot of discussion about Jeremy McGovern's waistline. He's never been too shy in actually admitting that maybe he could be a bit fitter, but he does his job in the intercept mark campaign.
He absolutely does do his job. We have to cross back down to Brett Sprigg, who I believe has some Eagles fans with him.
Well, it's only fair. I'll find some Eagles fans as well. What are your names, fellas?
Braden,
Roy, Jacob, Luke. And you've come across from Perth. When did you all get across?
I've got here, what do you reckon? 3 o'clock yesterday, yeah.
3 o'clock in the Arvo yesterday.
Treacherous journey.
It is a lot of support though. A lot of planes packed with fans wearing blue and gold, like your good selves.
Yeah.
We drove over.
Yeah, we drove.
You drove over.
Yeah, we drove.
Okay, that's the treacherous journey.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So when did you leave Perth?
10:30 Tuesday night.
Wow. When did you make the decision that you were going to come across here? I suppose once you saw the result of the prelim.
Once I got the tickets.
Yeah. So you got the tickets, drove across. Takes what? A couple of days.
It's a 26-hour drive, but because of the stops and that, took us about 39.
And I guess you'll drive back as well.
If we're gonna have to.
Yes. Hopefully after a win.
Yeah,
Yes.
hopefully.
What's the key for West Coast tomorrow? How are they going to win it?
Mason Grundy would be a big one.
Yeah.
Beat him in the ruck, beat him around the field,
Beat him in the ruck.
shut down side bottom.
What do you reckon? How much will they win by the Eagles?
25, I reckon.
25 points. Thanks, guys. Enjoy it.
All right. Cheers, mate.
Brett Sprigg with some Eagles fans there at the AFL Grand Final Parade. Clint Wilden, can we get a tip and a margin from you?
Eagles for me by about 18.
About 18. Emma Race?
Eagles by 7.
I'm going to say the Eagles by 2 points, courtesy of a goal after the siren in extra time.
Oh, I can't wait.
Do you know if that's a go after the siren decided to be the 50th time that's happened in AFL history?
I thank you, Clint Wilden. This is why we love having you here. This is why you are bringing us the game tomorrow with Al Nicholson, Mark McClure, Brad Sewell, Shane Woden and Kelly Underwood. Happy tomorrow, Clint Wilden.
Thanks, big fella. Appreciate it.
And thanks for joining us here on Grandstand. Tune into the ABC tomorrow. We will have all the coverage for you starting from very early right through the day. It is a magnificent day. Emma Race, have a great grand final day.
We'll do, and I'll be speaking to you Sunday on ABC Grandstand.
Absolutely. Grandstand, of course, back tomorrow from out the front of the MCG. Whoever you barrack for, I hope you have a win, and I hope you get to sing your team's club song.